Hi, Mickey. It's so great to see you and meet you in person.
Likewise.
Thank you for joining us in Austin.
Really appreciate it.
I would love to start with you just telling folks a little bit about yourself.
So I kind of come to this work here that we're gathered together here in Austin for as the co-founder of Connections Academy, which is one of the first and largest virtual school support organizations in the country. But I came to that really via journalism and then early introduction to education technology. I ran a few technology magazines for elementary school teachers in the mid-'80s, if you can imagine, and then worked on establishing a program called the E-Rate, which helps fund internet access in schools and libraries across the country. So a little bit of a circuitous journey to get to where I am now, but have spent almost all that time in education technology.
Incredible. What a background and experience. You've really coined the term attention-informed education, and I would love for you to talk a little bit about that today as well.
So what's really interesting to me is how, and this has been working with neurotech that this has been revealed to me, is how much it's true that all of us are somewhere on the continuum of education. As the more I think about it, the more I believe that actually when I was growing up, I may have had attention issues, but I'm old enough that back in those days, you didn't do anything about it. You adapted, basically. And I seem to have adapted really well. But as I think about what teachers could do with the information if they actually knew in a classroom of 29 or 30 kids sort of where everybody was on that attention continuum, how powerful that could be in terms of how they organize their classroom time, the kinds of tasks that they assign to kids, what they expect from them, and how to make sure to get the optimum education for every single student. So I'm really intrigued with that. I see this as an incredible tool and one that fits in really nicely with a lot of other trends in education around social and emotional learning, mental health, and so on.
Incredible. Yeah, that kind of brings me to my next question, which was, I'm sure you'll have many opportunities to work with many different organizations, and we're so glad you chose to work with neurotech. Can you talk a little bit more about why you did choose? You mentioned it, but expand a little bit more on why you chose to work with neurotech?
Yeah, I've heard a lot about neurotech and sort of like was familiar with the work that it had done more in the clinical space. And I have many members of my family that either directly have benefited or could have benefited from a better understanding of what their attention profile was, in addition to myself and everybody we know, right? So the opportunity to think about what that might look like as part of the fabric of a regular classroom, not another way to pigeonhole or label kids, but instead to help develop self-awareness on the part of learners about what their learning profile really is, seemed really exciting. And the fact that neurotech is also an international company. I'm really interested and excited about international education and things that are developed outside the U.S. coming to the U.S. and vice versa. I think we think of ourselves as very unique here in this country in terms of education and everything else, when the truth is everybody is dealing with the same issues. So combination of helping a small international company get a footprint in the U.S. and then helping teachers have another tool in their toolbox that will help them be successful.
Great. Well, we're so glad that you chose us, so thank you. We're really proud of the world-renowned advisory board that we've put together to help us here at Neurotech that brings folks from education and clinical. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience on our advisory board and some of the ways that you've worked together with us to help us build our best solution.
I think where I may have added some value is honestly around messaging to mainstream educators about what this tool can do. And it's been a little bit of a journey. I mean, I happen to be on the board of directors of a brick and mortar charter school in Brooklyn. And I've been talking with their school leaders about potentially piloting, Moxo and neurotech in their classrooms. And it's been very interesting to navigate the divisions between special education and regular education, what people's assumptions are when they think about an attention profile for a kid.
Sure.
I think there's a fairly high level of uncertainty and anxiety among regular educators to use anything that might further label and pigeonhole kids when that's the direction that they don't want to go. So, sort of zeroing in on those nuances and sort of helping the company figure out like the best way to talk about what it is that this is, how it works, how easy it is to use, and how powerful it is something where I don't have a PhD, I'm not a psychometrician, but I do understand the life of classrooms, and I feel like I can offer some value there as well.
Amazing. We're really proud of how we can help folks no matter where they are on that continuum, so thank you. Well, we couldn't thank you enough for your participation in the advisory board and for talking with me here today, and we look forward to a long and fruitful partnership. Your advice and support has been really instrumental in our success, so thank you.
Thank you.